Hey, I am Mustafa Sharif. Thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. I'm going to interview a young talent and crazy mind, Robin, who's gonna tell us a story about Vakansa, which is might going to change the city. I'm happy to welcome you, Robin, to Urbanistica podcast.
Thank you so much, Mustafa. Thank you so much.
How are you
It's a
doing?
pleasure to be here. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good. Considering the circumstances, I'm very good.
Great, and I'm happy to see a smile on your face. It means that you're in good mood and have so much energy now.
I do actually. I actually just ate some sushi, so I'm also fed and energetic. So it's
Okay,
great. Yeah.
then let's burn the calories.
Oh yes, let's do that.
Robin, how would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what are you passionate about?
Robin Rushdi Al-Sálehi. I'm a Swedish citizen because I'm saying that because I think this podcast is becoming international now. So I'm just saying that I'm working in the real estate sector. I've been working with sustainable development in the real estate and property sector. And I'm passionate about our cities and the potential that is the untapped potential that we have in our cities. That's what I'm mostly passionate about.
Yeah. And Robin, how did this passion grow up? Did you got it when you were studying or when you were young? So,
So when I studied city planning, urban planning, I started to understand how the politics of city planning has formed our cities and eventually also forms our lives and our destinies, depending on where we live, depending on the possibilities that we have in our neighborhoods or um depending on the families that we are born into and where how their status in society. um, I just understood how much of that is based on the city and where we live in our cities. But the passion, I guess, or the all of these thoughts surrounding our cities and event that made me come into city planning was that I lived in a suburb myself. I'm born and raised in Rinkeby and a place called Arabdalen in Stockholm. Arabdalen is translated into Arab Valley, so it's a segregated suburb, a place where only Arabs lived in one point in that area. Um, and I saw the effects of segregation. I saw the effects of segregation in the opportunities I got in my life and how people viewed me as a person coming from this place, but also seeing how my friends from my neighborhood, how what what opportunities they got and the status in our society that they got and that they got stuck in. You can call it social class or strata or whatever. And that is what has been driving me when it comes to working within the urban planning sector, real estate property sector, because I want to change that.
so this is basically how the story started.
That's how it started. Yeah.
And tell me, were people looking down at you when you were telling them that you're from the Arabian Valley?
I think most people were surprised. They were surprised that a person from this suburb or this place could could be something other than what they imagined. Uh, I had a friend. He's still my friend, but in the beginning, he said that Robin, you're one in a million. How is this possible? And I was like, no, I'm not one in a million. I don't want to be one in a million. I'm not special at all. I'm just like as anybody else. In my neighborhood or your neighborhood, it all depends on the structures and the possibilities that we get and the opportunities that we get. And I've been lucky. I've been lucky that I've gotten the opportunities that I've got, and been able to get to the place I'm in right now.
Yes, and talking about luck, it's not a big philosophical episode, but I'm thinking, have you been lucky or you created your luck? You created your opportunities.
This I think this is one of the topics that I've been struggling the most about. But no, I think I've been lucky.
Okay, okay.
Uh, Considering how the majority of the people in my neighborhood where they're at right now, I'd say I'm lucky, because if you go 50 meters from the neighborhood I'm from and go to the villa area, the residential area with all the villas, the scenario would be the opposite. You'd have perhaps one person that is not moving forward, not going to the gymnasium or whatever, and everyone else graduating from the university and becoming CEOs or whatever or whatnot.
Yeah,
So I'd say luck.
I understand you. How are you going to change the world? Tell me what is the background that what is Vakansa and how did you get the idea?
Yeah, so as I said, I studied urban planning at Uppsala University. I studied sustainable development. I had a company before. I started Vakansa that is called Gröna Grannar, so green neighbors in English, and we did lots of things. It was at the same time as I was doing my CSA, the bachelor
Thesis?
essay, yeah, thesis at university, where I was discussing in my thesis how a property owner could help an area to become more socially sustainable. And while doing that, I actually started my own community center in Flogsta here in Uppsala, where Flogsta, a typical high-rise residential area, uh, really boring. It's pretty much like a sleeping city. People just go there to sleep. They don't do anything else. They are isolated. They are bored. They don't know their neighbors, and there are also a lot of students. It's mostly a student residential area, so you have a frequent. Uh, I think the word would be turnover of people
Yeah,
moving in and out, perhaps. Um, and so there are no platforms or any spaces to actually meet people and get to know people. And so I started a community center, and I just saw the effects of it and was like, whoa, okay, what's happening here? I had a small facility, a cafe, and we did a couple of activities, having Game of Thrones nights and board game nights and whatnot. And
so, so
and
so
people,
the idea is just to bring people together to socialize, basically.
it was, I used the theory of, the theory of Jane Jacobs. So we live in cities that are functionalistic. We live in one place, go to school in another place, go to work in the third place, buy what we need in a fourth place, and spend our free time in a fifth place. It's everything is separated. Um, and what I just tried to do here was to put another function into this residential area. And voila, we had people doing other things, only sleep in this residential area. So that was what how everything really started. And then I got the opportunity to do a TEDx, where I tried to describe the untapped potential that we have in our cities, because as we are living in these functionalistic cities, um, we use these different places and spaces only certain hours of the day, and all of the hours they are completely empty. So office spaces empty during the nights, or schools, or our residential areas during the day. And so I came up with two new words for our uh, for the property and real estate sector because I felt that these were words were missing. And those words are time vacancies and space vacancies. Time vacancies are the times when a used building or facility is not being used. It's vacant certain hours of the day. And space vacancies are roofs, lawns, walls, parking lots, two-dimensional spaces or flat spaces that you could develop or develop with something, having solar panels or whatever. So going from Grana Grannar, trying this, seeing an effect, getting the opportunity to do it at TEDx, and now and continuing to talk about this and writing articles and everything, and really trying to create that debate and that discussion. Seeing what is happening right now with coronavirus, seeing how people are really rethinking our cities and understanding that we have so much space that is being unused. Vakansa is the company that is trying and is going to try to make it as easy as possible to co-use facilities, buildings and facilities. That is what we are going to do. We want to make it as easy as possible to create multifunctional buildings and facilities in our cities so that people can do pretty much everything they need to in their perhaps residential areas or in their areas. That's
Yeah.
what Vakansa is.
Yeah, Robin, can you break it down when you tell that a building can multi-use or being multifunctional, co-use? How are you going to do that? Is it an application or an office?
Okay, yeah. So that was the I guess the theoretical description. Vakansa right now is a platform, just like any other platform, like Airbnb, but our focus is on the time vacancy. So the times when facilities, buildings, and facilities are empty. And what we do is we try to matchmake, for example, a school with an association, an office space with a yoga instructor perhaps, or a yoga company, uh, pretty much any actors that see that they could share their rental costs and co-use the space, um, whenever the other isn't using it.
Yes, yes.
That's what we are doing, and we do this through our platform vakansa.se. But we are also going to uh, pilot test our sustainability facilities management. Okay, we're having so many difficult words here. I just realized that I'm just talking my, I'm that's my
No,
typical
no,
talk.
you're a great storyteller. Just keep telling.
Okay, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah, so we see Vakansa sees that there are a lot of time vacancies out there. We can matchmake those actors that are sure about solving that themselves. And people are already doing this. People, associations are doing this, certain schools are doing this. What we want to do is to scale this up. We want to give you all the tools you need to make it as easy as possible, as secure as possible, to share your spaces with others without having any risk about it. And share your rental costs, having insurance, having um, a great contract. you know.
I love the idea, to be honest. And all the audience who's listening to you
Mm,
now have so many questions, and I will try to ask the question and see
that's
how
great.
you in Vacanza deal with them. So let's start with the first one. So is it basically for the companies, schools, public sectors, or even like private people who own a big, let's say a big house or a big room can be part of this matchmaking?
So before Corona crisis, the focus was to our target audience or target group was NGOs, associations, organizations that perhaps don't need their own facilities, but still need their facilities to have their activities in. Actors that are perhaps not the ones with the thickest wallets, and through co-using, we could actually take down the cost of these facilities. Now, seeing the consequences of the coronavirus, we're looking at pretty much any facilities. We want to help companies to find suitable facilities. We want startups to find facilities through us, but also, we really want to work with bigger actors as well, property owners and real estate actors that see and understand that this is the future. We cannot continue to build lots of buildings all the time to fill the need of facilities, but we need to use what we already have and make and
Exactly.
use it as resource effective as possible.
Yeah, exactly. And I would love in this episode we highlight the values that Vakansa bring in terms of saving space, nature, time, and money, and so on. So tell me, who is standing for the insurance and for the cleaning? Let's say I have an association, I rent a place, I make it dirty, I damage it, then I go out. So is
Mhm.
Vakansa taking care of everything, or how is the contract?
So if those are a couple of the services that we offer. Great question. We can help with the cleaning. We can help with setting up a contract. We can help with insurance, having an insurance that would make sure that your facility is insured that certain time that it is being used by someone else. We can fix that. Those services is something that we are working a lot with right now, and developing them and trying to make them even better. So great question.
Yes, and so how do you make money?
So we make money through matchmaking, actors that find facilities that they can co-use with others. We take a small percentage fee of the rent from the matchmaking, but then Vakansa will also make money from establishing our own community centers. You see, the community center thinking is still there from
Yes.
Gröna Grannar. We want to, as we know that a lot of actors cannot handle this or don't want to handle this. They want someone to come and step in and take care of the co-usage themselves. And what we see at Vakansa is that we can do that. We can rent your time vacancies. We can establish our community center when you are not there, when you don't need your facility. And because we have the apparatus to take care and administer those time vacancies, we can invite as many associations, as many actors, as many groups from the civil society as possible that perhaps only want or need to rent 1 hour of that particular room or facility. That's how we make money. It's about, we make money through making use of your building that otherwise would stand empty. We make something unattractive attractive.
Okay, that's very, very great headline. And tell me, because the thing that here in Sweden is so complicated to,
It is.
if I have, again, if I have an association of, or if I am a startup and want just to spend some few hours in some place, of course I cannot have it in a cafe because a cafe is not really a working space, let's say.
Oh.
And in Sweden it's complicated because it's a matter of trust, administration, and so on. So how much easier are you going to make it so people can just say, yes, I'm going to this application, books few hours, and that's it. I don't need to worry so much. How easy
Mm.
is it going to be?
I mean, it's going to be. It has to be as easy as possible. The ones that rent out their spaces, our goal is to make sure that they feel that we have their backs in any whatever to take care of any complication that would happen in that facility. We are supposed to be there and make sure to take care of it. That's something that's a great question to our future potential customers. But I also believe that it depends on the customer, because they have their own requirements, they have their own facilities, they have their level of affection to that facility, and we have to meet that affection. I don't believe that we can't really do it as Airbnb, just matchmake someone with an apartment and someone wanting to use that apartment, and just taking a percentage of that fee and just stepping back. No, Vakansa is an actor that wants to be involved, because when we are involved, people see that we take responsibility, we care about the space, because we care about our facilities, our buildings, our city. We have to do it. Otherwise, the relationship between people, it's not that's not the easiest thing in the world. Relationships between people, sometimes you have to have someone that could ease that friction up, being some kind of diplomat or something.
Yes, yeah.
That's the perspective I'm having, and
This is
going through
going to
this.
be super interesting when we arrive to the question about smart city and how do you deal
Mm,
with that. But let's
mm,
wait with that. I want
okay.
to get it on fire now.
Oh, I'm
So,
getting curious now.
so who is deciding the price? Is
Mm.
it Vacanza, client, or the one who wants to rent?
The renters and the renter.
How much are we talking about?
It depends. I mean, this is the great thing with focusing on co-usage and time vacancies, because we already our market, the market of facilities is already established. We're already paying X amount of money for that X amount of square meters. What we are doing, we are just untapping the potential of those last hours that are not being used. So I think the when it comes to the cost of all of this, it depends on the actor renting out and the ones renting, because one argument would be that people don't need to do this because they're already paying a decent rent, they have already done it for a couple of years, and they have no problem with it. But it's trying to untapping the potential and starting to view your creating other values. If you have an office space opening up for associations to using it during the night or the weekends, you create something else. You create social values, you create perhaps new market opportunities, but also you could create more livable areas, and perhaps you would also decrease the risk of having burglaries during the nights or weekends. It depends on the person, but we are really trying to have something here that is keeping people's backs when it comes to co-usage and renting out their time vacancies.
When you told me the story about Vacanza when we met in Stockholm and we had a
Mm,
coffee, I
mm,
was super excited about it because this create life in the city, especially here in Sweden after 5 o'clock, 5 p.m., everything closed and people go
yeah,
home.
yeah,
So the city is almost dead. So
yeah.
this can bring the life, especially evening time.
Mm,
And I would really love to see the impact of it. And that's going to be super interesting.
mm.
So looking forward.
I am as well. I am as well, and I think that future scenario that you saw when we discussed this. I think we are getting closer to it right now when it comes to post Corona. I think we will work closer to home. Have our activities closer to home. We will start to get to know our neighbors more. I definitely see that.
And do you believe that there are going to be some big offices renting their office without any fee, just giving it for free?
That's a really, really good question.
You know, so many powerful companies that don't even need money,
Yeah.
but they maybe believe in the social atmosphere and this, so they might use Vacanza as just giving their place for free in order to create this livable city. So what is your reflection about this?
I think there are some real estate owners that do think like this. I don't think the majority does it because it's they're still perhaps stuck in that market thinking. Having supply and demand and getting paid for it. Uh, if you have a product that you're selling, you want to get paid for it. But now the question is, or are they our habitat? Is it a human right to be able to, get access to your city or not? I think that's the question that people have to ask in the future. Because as I've said many times now, I believe that we have all the square meters. In other words, we have all the square meters that we need in our cities to meet the problems and needs in our cities. So, can we afford to still be stuck in this, thinking of supply and demand, or is it more profitable to actually start meeting people's problems and needs for real and solving all of this? I think that's a much more profitable business case in the future, but it will only become a business case that could work if our cities and all the actors in our cities and all the inhabitants, and citizens in our cities start to benefit from everything that we are doing in our cities. We can't be stuck in just thinking about our own chain in the whole chain, the city chain of processes and having entrepreneurs or whatever. We're the whole city, and
Yeah.
everyone has to benefit from everything that is being the economic activities in our cities.
Yes, but Robin, what you're talking about, it's an open mindset, a special mindset.
Mm.
From what you see, starting Vacanza and getting clients, do you see that people are open to share, to co-use? What do you see?
I do see it. I do see it. I do also see that some people might get a bit greedy about this and try to really take very high prices for their time vacancies. But most people are open-minded, definitely, and people see the benefit of this. Either if it's just money wise or social or environmental aspects of it, definitely.
And do you see any patterns? For instance, I'm thinking that a certain area renting to a certain association that's within this area. Like if
Mm,
I'm in Stockholm, maybe I don't rent my place to some people or some association coming from Uppsala. It's
mm.
going to be more like local people.
I definitely think so. If the city post corona will be a city where we do our most of our activities in our neighborhoods, then definitely I see that. Yes.
What is the biggest challenge that you're facing? Or let's say, let's take the challenges actually, because I believe it's not only one.
Of course, the challenge is to find all of those actors, as you said before, that are interested in this, that are open-minded. Some people have, of course, been closed-minded, but that's not their problem. Of course, we work with those that see the benefits of this, and so the challenges up ahead for us in Vakansa would be to create that business case that is long term and being a profitable, where we can start employing people to work in these hubs and become those, as Jane Jacobs puts it, those people that are like nodes in their neighborhoods that everyone knows about. The
Yeah.
janitor,
Yeah.
yeah, like the janitor that everyone knows and everyone loves. Uh, we need to create those kind of spaces where everyone can feel that they're welcome. They know the people in there. They perhaps know one or two specific people that are just, those amazing people that, creating those social interactions and make everything happen in our cities, because we need those people. It's digitalization won't will only take us so far when it comes to meeting and talking. It's like Teams. It's one thing to talk in Teams, but and a complete other thing to actually meet and perhaps hug post Corona. Everything. So getting social with people in all of the aspects that are humanly possible.
Well, now we are arriving to smart city chapter.
Okay.
I see you're so much inspired by Jen Jacobs. I see the love, the energy that's coming out from you when you're talking. And so, what is a smart city for you? How do you define it?
Would be a resource effective city, in my view, a self-sufficient city. Cities today are resource consuming entities. We do have a unhealthy focus on cities, I would say, actually, both nationally and internationally. We see that everything happens in cities, and we try to develop cities as much as possible to get more of all of those activities. But cities are nothing without the rest of the world. We Cities are resource consuming entities, and a smart city is a circular city where flows of resources and people and knowledge and everything is being reused and recycled, in different ways. We need to make our cities self-sufficient, and they have to become a circular, taking care of all of our waste, taking care of this, using the sun that is shined upon our cities, taking care of the stormwater. It has the cities are smart when they are resource effective, and today I would say we are far from it. Resources are coming in and they are moving out or thrown away or burnt or whatever. And in some cases, people are being used in that same way as well. We have people growing up, people perhaps growing up in poverty or in homelessness. That's not smart at all. We have people that never get to become the people that they want to be, or be people in our cities as everyone else, citizens that contribute. Everyone wants to contribute. I believe that that's in our nature, that we want to contribute. We're altruistic creatures. We're not always egotistical and only think about ourselves. And so that is a smart city.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting description about what is a smart city, and also it's matching perfectly with the Vakansa. It's about reusing not only the resources but resources in order in term of buildings, and I find it very interesting. So you mentioned in early that Vakansa is not only a digital platform. We're going to be
Exactly.
present. We're going to be to meet the people and create the relationships.
Yes, yes.
This means time, energy, and in
Mm,
a smart city, we're looking more for more effective time consuming. So
mm,
we spend less time on such things and
mm,
just get our things done with one click.
mm.
So do you think that you're gonna re-concept this idea that you're not going to meet social with people and just with one click everything is going to be done?
As I said a bit earlier, digitalization will only take us so far when it comes to our relationships with people, I think. Uh, a, a lot of our habits are something that digitalization can't always change. So uh, you compared us to Airbnb, as I did before as well. Airbnb being this digital platform, taking the masses of people wanting something to rent and the masses of people wanting to rent something out, and matchmaking them and making profit out of it. uh, we do that plus managing everything. So we definitely believe, in creating a smart city means that you have to manage that city in a smart way as well. That's why you know when I talk about sustainability, or why I studied sustainability, it wasn't because sustainability was an ideology. It's not. It's facts. It's resources. It's our planetary boundaries. It's the effects we have today on our planet, and uh, the other, alternative way that we have using something resource effectively, creating the smart city. But in order to get there, we need to manage it. And so that is definitely, as you said, the difference between perhaps Vakansa and Airbnb. We want to manage, we want to help people, we want to make it as easy as possible to do the right decision.
Yeah.
uh, and and also making sure that everyone profits out of it. Win-win-win concepts, or whatnot.
Yes, super
Definitely.
interesting. So tell me, what is the status now of Vakansa? How far you came with the...
This autumn, we got a grant from the Swedish Innovation Institute, Vinnova, and
Wow,
we
congratulations.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. We wanted to establish our pilots now during the spring, but because of Corona, there are no activities out there today. In our cities, people are sitting at home and doing stuff around their homes. And so what we are doing right now, going from, as I said, focusing on the pre-corona city, where people needed cheap facilities for certain hours each day. We're looking forward in how we could help our cities out post-corona, creating we right now we're looking at having 2 to 3 pilots this autumn, where we will have co-working spaces closely to where people live, and also providing with spaces to our associations, NGOs, organizations, and in our cities. We, post Corona as well, we want to kickstart our cities, and be there to help our cities develop into the more sustainable direction in autumn. So that is our plan right now.
Yes, wow, sounds so super interesting. I wish you really all the luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mustafa.
And I really believe hard in what you're working with because this is, as you mentioned, you told that this is going to be the future. I believe this should happen now. And as you're working with, I'm very proud that the young generation finally started to take action and change the game to make it more sustainable. So
Mm.
I'm super happy and excited about the idea.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Well, Robin, it was very interesting and inspiring to talk to you. Thank you so much again for giving your time to Urbanistica podcast.
Thank you so much.
Your next step.
So the next step, I'm actually quitting my job that I have right now to focus on Vakansa 100%. We have summers coming up, and I'm really going to try. I'm going to try to take some vacation, because I haven't really done that for a while. But and as I said, uh, preparing everything for autumn, and kickstarting our cities in autumn in Stockholm and Uppsala.
Great.
That's the plan.
So after the summer, you're going all in.
I'm already going all in.
Cool, cool. I like that. I like that. Well, Robin, how would you like to summarize what we talked about and some of your reflections and three takeaway messages?
There are a lot of untapped potential in our cities. I believe that everyone sees them, perhaps even more now post Corona. And I believe that we will have cities that are much more multifunctional in the future, that are more livable, where people meet each other more, and where work and spare time balance will become something else than what we've seen pre-corona. Post-corona, I think people will definitely focus on social sustainability, and understanding how that is connected to the environmental sustainability and our planetary boundaries.
Now it's time for the three hashtags.
So, English or Swedish hashtags?
It's up to you.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
up to you.
Well, I need to, of course, shout out to my idol. I mostly have only have women idols, and one of those are Jane Jacobs. So hashtag Jane Jacobs, hashtag urban planning, hashtag sustainability.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
the interesting conversation. I'm very thankful for that.
I'm really happy for this opportunity. Thank you so much, Mustafa.
And thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. Please don't forget to follow Instagram and subscribe the YouTube channel. If you have any great story that makes our city smarter, please contact me. I am Mustafa Sharif. Keep up the good work. Keep loving cities.